Ciao Bella, welcome to Bello Uncinetto. I'm Christina and I'm so glad that you're here with me today. If you're new, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. No matter how long you've been here, I always appreciate your time. I am so very excited to show you the finale of the Manfella MALS project that was started in 2025. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I will fill you in. So, 2024, Sam over at Memphis Makes and I were talking about doing some projects, doing some collaborations together, and we decided that we wanted to do some things that were not so filled with pressure and stress and timelines and all of these things. So, we decided to do projects that were on our list that we wanted to make. And do them within the year, but not necessarily do them together. So her son drew from envelopes, and my daughter drew from envelopes. And whatever her son picked, I was creating. Whatever my daughter picked, she was creating. And we came up with 4 projects. And over the course of 2025, I managed to get 3 of them done. I did start the 4th one in 2025. It was December of 2025 when I started it, and I'm glad to tell you that I finally finished it. So, what is that project, you ask? Let me get my bag. It's over here, and I will share it with you. The other projects were a label my library make, which we both do that segment, or have done that segment on our channels. A subscription yarn project. I've had subscription yarns. She has subscription yarns. So make something with something from our subscription yarns. And then a pillowcase to be made for the other person. So I made mine and sent it to Sam. So those were 3 of the 4 projects. The other project was, drum roll please, I still have to weave in ends, don't judge me, the Asteria doily. And it is done. It is done. It is done. It is done. I am so excited. I have just these little ends to weave in, but I'm trying to decide exactly what I want to do with it, like where I want to put it. I know I want to put it in a shadow box, because this yarn is very sentimental to me. I do not want to put it on a hoop where dust can get to it and things like that. I do want to hang it, but I need to take some measurements and get it in a shadow box and get it completed as far as that is concerned. So, but it is done. It's 100% done. Stitches are done. Petals are done. Everything is finished. Now, this was challenging. This was time consuming. This was not something that you could just sit and do and do and do and do. Every single round of this project is different. Even if it's a setup row that's similar to the setup row from the previous tier, it's different. So every round is a different thing, which is nice, because you don't get bored, but it's also difficult in the sense that you can't just crochet. Now, once you start the round is the same all the way through, but you have to get the hang of that round. And as you go, if you can tell, as you go, the rounds get more complicated, right? So I am going to take a picture and I'll post it in my community area so that you can see it in all of its glory, because it is getting kind of washed out here in my craft room, but it is completed. Now, the yarn is special because it was, let me grab, I have another hank of it over here. It was this yarn in the multiple colorways that I got from a place in Pinsolo, Italy, which is where my family is from. And this is hand-dyed yarn from a yarn shop in the center of that town. and I wanted to do something special with it. Now, I do have a significant amount of yarn left over when it comes especially to the green, because I bought 2 of the green. I have a significant amount of the yellow left, but I don't have a lot of this variegated colorway left. This is all I have. That's all I have left. So I do have enough to do something else with all of the yarn. But if I do something else with all of the yarn, I'm going to keep it all in one project again. So that way I would have 2 projects with this very special yarn. I'm not going to use a scrap here, a scrap there, a piece here, a piece there. I'm not going to do it that way because this yarn is just too special to me. So I do still have a whole lot of this green left and then a significant amount of the yellow left. I could, if I wanted, make another one of these, but kind of in reverse, where I had this and then the yellow and then the green. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to make another Asteria doily probably ever in my life. Not because I hated it and not because it was too challenging, but because this is like, for me, this is a special item. I've wanted to make it. I've always found it very beautiful, and I made it in a very special yarn. So I feel accomplished in that sense, and I don't feel the need to make it again. Will I make another doily or mandala or something? Maybe, with that yarn. But I'm not going to make this particular one again. I could, but I'm not going to, right? I don't feel the need to have 2 of them. Maybe that'll change in the future, but right now, no. I was using a 2.75 millimeter Clover on this, and it has taken me 6 months to get it completed, but it was a little bit at a time as I had the energy. I got a lot of it done at the beginning of the year. So in December, during my winter break, I really cracked on with it and got a lot done. And then I've slowly been doing it a little bit at a time as I've had the time and the patience to work on it. But it's done. It's dusted. It's completed. And I really do absolutely love it. I adore it. I'm so glad that I did it. And that this is a project that I can say that I did with one of my yarny besties, even though we didn't do it at the same time. It was a collaboration that we did together, so I can say that we did it in a collaboration together. So I do want to sort of just unfurl these last petals because it's been rolled up in my bag, but it is completed. So you can go back if you want to look at our playlists. I have a Manfella MALS playlist, as does Sam. You can go back and look at all of the makes, what I made, what she made. I know that she, this year, finished one of them, and I believe she has one more left to do. But I'm going to leave all of that specific information for you to go if you want to check out on her channel, if you don't already have the information because you follow her. I will leave you to go and investigate that on your own because that gives you an incentive to go watch her channel, right? If I gave you all of the information, there's no need for you to go check out her channel. And I do want you to. She's amazing and wonderful and so talented. But I can say, finally, that my portion of the collaboration is finally complete. We did tell each other that there was no pressure, right, to get it all done within the year. If it got done, it got done. If it didn't, it didn't. Because life does happen, and life definitely did happen to the both of us last year. So I am just happy that it is completed, and guys, it's so beautiful. That, like, honestly, holding it up does not do it justice. It is absolutely stunning. to me, it kind of feels like a lily pad in the water. Um, that's not what I was going for. I wanted to go for more of a flower situation, but with the sky in the background. But because of the petals, it really just looks so much like a lily pad. Like this is the center, then you have the flowers, and then you have the water with the ripples and the reflection, right? It really just looks so stunning. And I was on the phone with Kay when I finished it, and I was like, "It's done. I'm so excited." And she was like, "I bet it feels great to have that finally, off your plate." And I was like, "It does. It does." And it's beautiful. Did I do it 100% the way that it was done? Supposed to be done? No. I did all the tiers and everything, but there were a couple of rounds where I thought I read the stitch correctly and I didn't read the stitch correctly, but you can't tell the difference. I did, like, instead of doing a half, I think it was a half double treble something something, I did a half double treble and then a half treble. So it still makes that, like, it's not on this petal, but it still makes that up and down. It just makes the up and down differently. So the one side of the petal, the middle of the petal is supposed to peak. So it goes up, 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 and then it peaks, and then it goes down, 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 right? So it still does that. It just doesn't do it exactly the way the pattern said. I did that on like 2 rounds, I think. But I was like, I'm not going back. You can't tell a difference. I'm not going back. There was a tutorial that I was following for a couple of the rounds where I really did get lost. I was like, I don't know what this means. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I did find the tutorial to be super helpful. The pattern wasn't incredibly difficult to read for me. But I said there were a couple of places where the tutorial that I found was very helpful. There are no words. They're just, you read the screen, you watch her hands, and that's it. So I can link that down below if you're interested. It's in multiple parts, so I can go back and put just the first part if you're interested in checking that out. But you guys, I can't stop like looking at it. It's so pretty. I can't wait. I need to measure the diameter so that I can get it in a shadow box. The only thing that I want to ask you all is, do you have any recommendations for how to put it in the shadow box? I don't want to like staple it or anything like that. I thought about pins. Maybe if I get some foam, I can pin it down. But I don't want the pins to show. I just I don't want to ruin the yarn in any way. So if you have ideas of how to put this in a shadow box, I don't want to stitch it down or anything like that because I don't want to mess with the integrity of the yarn. So pins or loops or, I don't know, some sort of like hook situation. I really don't know. Any advice that you have, I would be super grateful for that. I want to get kind of like those shadow boxes where these came from Antoinette. She made these squares for me to represent my channel, and I want something kind of like that, but I can tell kind of how she put them in there, and that's not exactly what I'm looking for because it kind of stretches the yarn a little bit, and I don't want to do exactly that, but I want to do something like that where I have it in a shadow box or there's a little bit of space so it has some room to breathe, but also there's no dust or anything that really gets on it, because this is really, really important to me, and it means a lot to me, not only because it's where my family came from, but because my children were with me on this trip, and like the amount of tears that I shed, the joy that I felt, it's all encapsulated in this yarn and in this project. So the more that I can protect it and the integrity of it, the better. So I would definitely appreciate your thoughts on that. So I'm done. And thank you all so much for following along on this journey. Um, And now I get to put more energy into other things. Maybe the fairy dust, maybe my cardigan, certainly my pick and mix triangles. When my yarn comes in for the stag and the serpent, I've got things to do, right? It's just now with this off my plate, that's one more thing that I can divert my energy into something else. All right. So that's really all I have. A short video today. Because this yarn, like I said, is hand dyed yarn. It was a mystery yarn. So there's not really much to tell other than it's a fingering weight yarn and it's merino and seta. That's really it. But this is the maker, and it was the Asteria doily. My collaboration is done. So let me know. Like I said, I'm going to put a picture of it in my posts, and you can let me know what you think. But I am so proud of myself for completing it and for completing the collaboration. And I know that Sam is proud of herself for completing the projects that she's completed. And who knows, maybe we'll be cooking up something else that you can join along with in very soon. Until I see you again, be well, be safe, and be the change you wish to see in the world, everyone. Ciao bella!